Tom Brady, the consensus greatest of all time, made his retirement Instagram official this morning with an 8-page post, not including the picture of him in his Bucs uniform, talking about how he's loved his career, his current teammates, the city of Tampa, their fans, the owners, all their coaches, his personal trainer, his agents, his family. 8 Instagram pages without a single word about the 20 years he spent as a New England Patriot. It wasn't until 3 hours after his initial announcement that Brady retweeted a Robert Kraft tribute and added this: "Thank you, Patriots Nation. I'm beyond grateful. Love you all." That was it. I'm joined now by Karen Guregian, Patriots beat columnist for the Boston Herald. Karen, it's great to have you here. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, great to be on. Thanks for having me.
Did you go to every single game that Brady played as a Patriot, all 20 years?
I pretty much went to all of them except one, and it happened to be the first Super Bowl because I was headed to Salt Lake for the Olympics and couldn't quite navigate being there and being in Salt Lake at the same time. So I'm pretty sure that was the only one I missed.
So 20 years minus one qualifies you to answer this question. Is he not just the best football player ever? Is he the best at his job of anyone you've seen at any job over such a long period of time?
Yeah, when you put in the longevity, 22 years, age 84, I mean, he totally shattered the age myth, and, Father Time always wins, except when it comes to Tom Brady. And the fact that, in his age 40-year-old season, he led the league in touchdown passes and yards, pretty much says it all. And no one in the sport has won more games, won more Super Bowls. And the thing that gets me, and I sort of wrote about it, is, he's not like this world-class athlete, but he worked so hard at it and his work ethic. And it got to a point where, I think every time he was on the field, no matter what the team, no matter what the score, I think that team had this inner belief that they would win no matter what.
Yeah, I buy that from afar. But for a guy who elevated spontaneity on the field to an art form and then some, it seemed to me as a long, distance observer, every word he ever spoke in public was carefully crafted and intentional. And when I read, like everybody watching the show, the Instagram post this morning, and he thanked everybody from the owners to the fans, all Bucks, to the coaches, to the janitors, literally, all the staff who smiled every morning, that was an intentional omission. I know he wrote a beautiful note when he left Boston a couple of years ago. What do you make of that complete, I think, snub of 20 years here?
Well, it was definitely eyebrow raising, definitely curious. I haven't spoken to him or anyone in his camp to get exactly, if it was an intentional slight, which it appears to be. I've been inundated with mail from angry fans who are very unhappy about that. And which is their right. But I've also talked to a few of his teammates who say, you know what, just let the guy retire, get over it, So I can see both sides, but I definitely understand where the fans are coming from.
We had a lot of hostility actually on the radio today, and I think it was not just leaving town, but it was the thing from in baseball, correct me if I'm wrong, and I know you're the Patriots beat report, but in baseball, if you've played on more than one team, there's a decision about what hat or what shirt or whatever you go in under. So, like, theoretically, David Ortiz, obviously it's not going to happen. Could be a Red Sox or a Minnesota Twin. Obviously it's going to be a Red Sox. Do the same rules apply to the NFL Hall of Fame when he's admitted in 5 years? Is it possible he could be identified as a Buck, as a head of a Patriot?
I suppose. I mean, what they do is a bust, and it's a facial bust. So there's no helmet thing on there. But I haven't. it's remiss of me. I haven't been to the Hall of Fame, so I don't know if there's also something on a wall that, a picture of some sort, and perhaps that's where the uniform decision would come in. I don't know that for a fact because I haven't been to the Hall of Fame, but when you just have a bust, there's no real distinction.
That's comforting. So do you have one, I read your legacy piece today, but do you have one memory? I mean, for me, it's not one play, but obviously the 28-3 comeback in the Super Bowl, unlike anything I've ever seen in anything, not just football, my whole life. Do you have one memory from 20 years of being up close and personal with him?
Well, it was actually the Seattle comeback.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think he brought them, I think he scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter in that game. And like the press box, when Malcolm Butler picked off that pass, I've never heard a press box just collectively gasp.
That's great. That's great.
But it was all, that was all part and parcel of the game itself. And again, one more Brady comeback. It looked like it was going to go for naught. And then Malcolm Butler comes up out of nowhere. And literally, I'm telling you, at the same time, 100 people, hundreds of thousands of people in the press box gasped aloud, like, oh my God. So, that sticks out to me.
That's
obviously, 28-3 sticks out to me. There's so many. The Giants game to end the season, the perfect season, him hitting Randy Moss late in that game, pulling out that game. And I have actually so much respect for the Giants for putting up a fight in that game. But, completing the perfect season. There's so many. Playing with the 20 staples in his hand and winning.
I couldn't do the show with 20 staples in my hand. Hey, can I interrupt you to just ask the question? There's a rumor around here that at every press conference, I only have 10 seconds left, he would do a hi Karen when he in the press. Is that rumor or true?
And it is true.
And what's that about?
I don't know. Maybe I was the Helen Thomas for him or something, because I was around for so long. But whenever my hand was raised and I got the microphone, there was always a warm greeting from Tom.
Great.
And then win or lose, too.
Karen, love your reporting and really happy you could give us a few minutes here tonight. Thanks so much for doing it.
Thanks for having me.